Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. It is now 1:30, so thank you so much for attending today's webinar on newspaper quarterly filing. This webinar is a great webinar for those who are new to quarterly filing or just need a refresher. Today, what we're going to do is I'm going to go over some quick tips for quarterly filing, go over the main components of the filing tool, also go over some key reports that would be helpful for you when filing. I will then switch over to a live demo. I'll go over the quarterly filing online menu. Then I'm also briefly going to touch base about BrandView because the BrandView menu is attached to the quarterly filing menu. Then I'm also going to just briefly show you the location of once your quarterly day report is filed and released into our Media Intelligence Center, where it's located. And then I'm going to highlight some good reference materials about quarterly filing. We have an awesome reference guide that goes step by step on quarterly filing. And then also, too, we have some more upcoming free training webinars coming up that I wanted to go over with you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the quarterly filing for newspapers, if you're a daily publication, is going to be due October 15th. For our weeklies and our ones that are in the community newspaper audit plan, those are going to be due October 22nd. Just to let you know how the due dates, how they fall, it's always due the 15th or the 20th of the following end of the quarter month. So for the March quarter, it's due April 15th, April 20th. June is July 15th, July 20th, and so forth. Do want to point out, though, if the due date happens to fall on a weekend, it will be due that following Monday. So in our example for October 20th for the weeklies, October 20th is actually, I believe it's a Saturday. So October 22nd is a Monday. That's when your actual due date is for our weeklies and our CNN publications. Also, too, some filing tips for preparation. One, you always want to have the previous file quarterly report, and I'll show you where that is when we go into our live demo, how to pull your previous file quarterly report. Our website is at auditedmedia.com. Also, too, our filing tool works best with the following browsers, which is Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. There are specific credentials to get into the filing tool. It will be your member number, username, and password that are specific for the filing tool itself. Those are different credentials than the ones you would use for the Media Intelligence Center. If you're unsure of what your credentials are for the filing center, please contact me. More than happy to provide that information for you. So the starting point, when you go into the filing tool, the first thing that you're going to see, there's going to be four main components in the filing tool on the menu section. And in the main part to get started in the filing tool is under questionnaire, and it's going to be survey. And in the survey, the first question is, what circulation categories are you reporting? It's important that you're going to check print, if you have digital replica, and digital non-replica. If you have digital replica, but you don't check the box, it's not going to show up in the filing tool. So it's important in the very beginning that you check each component of circulation types that you have. Also, to save and save often. If you get anything out of this webinar today, remember to save and save often. Our filing tool does time out after a few minutes of inactivity, so I always recommend that you save and often. And there's two save features. There's save, and it'll say successfully save and leave you on the same page. There's save and continue, which will save it and then continue to the following tab. The next section in the filing tool is Main Edition Pub Plan. And this is important because this is going to tell you the starting point and end point of your quarterly report dates. Also, too, it allows you to double check what the frequencies are for your publication, as well as if you had any non-publishing days or eliminated days. Want to point out for the default mechanism for the quarter range dates is always going to be the beginning of the quarter. It's always going to be that first, in our case here for September would be July 1st, and then it ends September 30th. We do have some folks that follow a 544 calendar plan. So if that's the case, what you're going to want to do is there's a red calendar box that you can pull down and select what your quarter date starts. So there should be no gap for when your previous quarter ended. So if I had June 30th, that means July 1st should be my quarter, my first date for my quarter for the September quarter. If I ended, say, July or June 28th, then that means my quarter should start June 29th. So just keep that in mind, and you can easily change your quarter start date and end date by pulling down the red calendar box. Publishing plan, there really isn't going to be anything for you to do in this section other just to double check what your frequencies are, meaning how often do you publish and release your newspaper. So in this particular example, we had a weekly publication. It only goes out on Wednesday, so that's why Wednesday's only checked. But let's say you added a new frequency. That's great. What you'll need to do is contact Tim Lean at 224-366-6435. And he can update the frequency box for you. We manually had to go into the system to update your frequencies. Otherwise, it's always going to be the same frequencies that were filed from your previous quarter. Non-publishing days, minute days. These are a non-publishing day means you just did not publish. So, for example, for the September quarter, July 4th would probably be a real popular one. A lot of people did not publish. So you would click on this plus sign, and in that plus sign, it will bring down the calendar box, and you can select what your non-publishing day is. An omitted day means you actually published, but the circulation was really low, and you really don't want to include it in your averages. You're allowed to do that as long as it's 5% above or below the previous corresponding day. And you can only omit up to 10 omitted days in a calendar year or for your reporting period. Next section in the filing tool in the questionnaire section is going to be reconciliation of days. Now this section you're not going to do anything in other than you're just going to double check the publishing days. So what you're going to do when it comes up, it'll be a gray box with your title. You're going to click on that gray box and it'll bring down the number of publishing days. It always starts off with a possible number of days. It takes into account omitted days and non-publishing days that you had entered in the main edition pub plan and nets it down. So in my example here, there was 13 Wednesdays. I had no omitted days, no non-publishing days, so my net day is 13. That means there was a possible 13 Wednesdays during this quarter. So what you want to make sure is that this number corresponds to the number of publishing days in your circulation report. The circulation report is what I'll go in detail in a moment here, but it's a report you're going to use to help you file your data. If it happens to be that the net day isn't correct, go back into the main edition pub plan and you can select the omitted day or non-publishing day so it nets down correctly for you. It's important that this is correct because the filing tool uses this day and it's going to convert your distribution into averages, and it's going to use this net day to calculate your average. The next section we're going to talk about is paragraph 1. This is your distribution. It's going to be your distribution for 3 months. So it breaks down your paid distribution, your qualified distribution, and verified distribution. To help you prepare for quarterly filing, the report you're going to want to pull, it's a circulation history report. Each publication has their own unique report to pull this data. Everyone has a little bit of different system, but usually it's sometimes referred as the ABC book, circulation history report. But what this report should have would be the specific quarter range. So this is going to be, in our instance here, for July through September. It has a number of frequencies, so it'll have Wednesdays, but if you're a daily, it should have all your frequencies listed. And it's going to also have the distribution categories for those days. And then what the report will do, will have a summary section, and it will calculate your average for the 3 months. So this is an important report that you'll need to pull from your system. If you do have any questions about the report you need, feel free to contact me, and I'm more than happy to walk you through that process. A lot of times what I tell clients when they are taking this report is take this information and then put it in a spreadsheet so it's easy for you then to take this information and put it into the filing tool. Because a lot of times what you're going to find is on your circulation report, there's carriers, you have dealers, motor routes, racks, counter sales, employees, etc. Those categories fall into a different component for AAM. So home delivery for AAM is made up of carrier and motor routes. Single copy sales for AAM is made up of dealers, racks, and counter sales. So that's why I always recommend putting together a spreadsheet. If you don't have a spreadsheet to help you with that, feel free to contact me, and I'm more than happy to help set up a spreadsheet for you to take your circulation record and to be able to put it into categories for AAM. So that's paragraph 1. That's the main component of the filing tool. The next main component of the filing tool is paragraph 3, zip code data. So this is a requirement for all U.S. publications. If you're a Canadian publication, you do not file a zip code report. This is only for U.S. publications. But it's required that you provide a paragraph 3 with your zip code distribution every quarter. And what we ask is that it's a representative day, and you choose one daily date and a Sunday date. For us, a representative day means that it's not more than 5% above or below the previous corresponding day, the week before and the week after. So you want it to be a representative day. You don't want it to be a really high NIE day or a high coupon day. You want it to be a normal day. And the reason why is because that's going to represent what your distribution is. It takes your distribution and it breaks it down by zip code. Now, this zip code report is a really key component for advertisers. They use this report all the time to research where they want to put their advertising. They're going to pull your zip code report and find where your main distribution is occurring. So it's important that you choose a representative day. The paragraph 3, it's going to be broken down by distribution type. And you have the zip codes, and I'll take the distribution type and break it down by zip code. Paragraph 1, I do want to go back real quick here. Paragraph 1, when you see this information here for paragraph 1, this is your 3-month average. This is net distribution, meaning your paid distribution returns are deducted. Single copy sales is net sales. Paragraph 3, on the other hand, you can have it be gross distribution, meaning you can include returns in your zip code reports. Also, too, the zip codes that you're going to report, the distribution, you're going to report any zip code that has 25 copies or more. Anything that's under 25 copies, you're just going to classify that under miscellaneous or all other. Print distribution is what's going to be broken out by zip code. Digital is going to be reported, but as a line item only. I'm going to make the screen bigger here. So here's digital replica. My circulation for digital non-replica is right here. It's not broken up by zip code, but it's placed under home. They had paid home delivery. Actually, it's paid subscriptions for digital. So that goes under home delivery and mail. But it's not broken out by zip code. So digital is not broken out by zip code, but your print distribution is. Also, too, is your print distribution. It's by point of delivery. It's that final destination of where the end consumer is located, where they're purchasing that paper at. So even though you have a dealer, an independent distributor, it doesn't go by the independent distributor's address. It goes to the location he's delivering the papers to. So it's that location, the 7-Elevens, the grocery stores. It's the end point, not the starting point. Also, too, the categories that you're going to see broken out for paragraph 3, at minimum, will have a total column for paid, qualified, and verified distribution. We do have some publications that will go in even further detail. They'll take their paid distribution and they'll break it up by paid home delivery, paid single copy sales, your business traveler, to come up with a total paid. So I'll just zoom in here so you can see. So in this example here, we have for Sunday, this is Abilene Reporter. They took home delivery, single copy sales, business travel equals total paid. And then they have a qualified section and then a grand total. Do you want to point out another tip is that the categories you break out in paragraph 1 should be reflected in paragraph 3, meaning if you have a qualified distribution, which most everyone does because qualified distribution includes NIE copies and your employee copies, you should have qualified broken out in paragraph 3. Paragraph 3 for qualified will always be you break it up by zip code, but it's your NIE, your employees, that's all lumped together. For some publications that break out the detail they're paid, you're going to have details for your paid home delivery, details for your paid single copy sales. But qualified distribution, that's made up of your NIE, your employee copies, and qualified retail sales. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. So once you select your paragraph 3 date, when you go into the filing tool, the first thing it's going to say is no paragraph 3 date on file. What you're going to do is click on add new paragraph 3. You're only going to do this once. And once you choose your paragraph 3 date, and if you have to go back in and make any changes, you'll click on edit. And I'll show you that in my live demo. But the very first thing you'll do is click on add new paragraph 3, select your paragraph 3 dates. There's going to be a paragraph 3 survey that you're going to fill out. But say you have to go back and add more information for paragraph 3. When you go back into the filing tool, do not click on add new paragraph 3, click on edit because your dates have already been established. When you go into the filing tool for paragraph 3, there is a survey questionnaire that pops up, just like there is for paragraph 1. So for paragraph 3, it wants you to select your paragraph 3 dates. So in that very first question is a very important question. It wants to know what your paragraph 3 dates are. So there will be a red calendar box that will pull down, and you're going to select your paragraph 3 dates. Also, too, it's very important that you fill out pub code. If you are not uploading your paragraph 3 zip code, just put the initials of your publication. If you are uploading your zip code to be into the filing tool, it's very important that you put in what the exact naming convention of your publication into the pub code. Usually for people who are going to be uploading their paragraph 3, those are publications with a large amount of zip code data. Most publications, though, are going to just manually enter in their zip code information. But if you choose to upload paragraph 3, there's very specific instructions to do that. It has to be a CSV file, has a file, there's instructions to pull. I'll make it a little bigger so you can see, but it has to have all these column headers, so there's at least 12 columns. It has to be in this exact same order. So if you are interested in how to upload your paragraph 3, let me know and I can walk you through the process. Again, I only recommend this for those titles with a large amount of zip code data. Otherwise, manually entering it won't be that bad. Also, too, for our publications that are circulation with circulation size of 25,000 and under, you're able to prorate your paragraph 3, provided it meets the following criteria. One is that your average daily distribution is 25,000 or less. You've added no new categories since your last audit. No new affiliated publications have been added. There were no material findings from your released audit report. And you have to provide an actual paragraph 3 once an audit cycle. Now, this does not mean that you get out of providing paragraph 3, what it does, it's just a different way to calculate your zip code data. So instead of you pulling a report from your system, because you're going to have to pull a report that's going to say zip code history. And in that report, you're going to pull it and you would manually enter that information. What prorating will do is you still select your paragraph 3 dates, you provide what your total distribution is on those paragraph 3 dates, but there's a button called Calculate Proration. And when you calculate proration, it automatically will populate what your zip code distribution is, because it's going to take your last filed paragraph 3 and compare it to what your total is for this quarter for your paragraph 3 and come up with a percent. It takes those percents and applies it to your zip code distribution. So if you're interested in prorating and never done it before, please contact me. I'm more than happy to walk you through that process. There is on that survey questionnaire in paragraph 3, you're going to want to say yes, you want to prorate. And just to let you know, question 6 only pops up for those publications that are eligible to prorate. When you are filling out information for the paragraph 3, you select your paragraph 3 dates. Before you start entering in zip code data, there is a tab called Circulation Record. You're going to want to make sure you fill that out first. What the circulation record is, it wants to know what is your distribution for your paragraph 3 date. It also asks what is your distribution for the week before and the week after. Now, the reason why we want to know about the week before and the week after is that's for us internally here at AAM. We want to make sure you're choosing a representative day. Remember, a representative day is that your paragraph 3 date should not be more than 5% above or below the previous corresponding day, the week before, and the week after. So this is for us internally just to double check you're selecting a representative day. The other key feature for the circulation record totals is that you'll provide what the total distribution is for qualified, paid, and verified. It gets pulled over into the zip code data entry tab. When you click on, there's a tab for zip code data entry. It's going to pull in your circulation record totals, and then when you start adding in your zip codes, it should balance to 0. So my example here is my zip code. I'm entering in data. I have a zip code. I put in 3,500 for my qualified, and my verified I had 19,500. If I look at circulation record totals, is my qualified, I have a 0 balance, but a verified circulation, I'm off by 500. So this is just a check and balance. You want to make sure that the zip code information you're entering in the filing tool corresponds with your circulation records, a total tab. To make sure that there's the total distribution for that paragraph 3 date matches with what you're breaking out in your zip code. And again, this will make more sense when I show you the live demo. The other key feature in paragraph 3 is once you have entered in all your information for paragraph 3, there is a section called View Summary. View Summary, when you click on that, will take this paragraph 3 information and put it in an Excel file. You do not have to click on View Summary, but I highly recommend that you do, because what this will do, it acts as a backup for you. Because once you submit paragraph 3, you won't be able to go back into it. So it's just another way to save your paragraph 3. There is a 2-step process for submitting information to AAM for your quarterly report. The first one is paragraph 3. So in the filing tool, in the zip code section, it'll say, oops, got ahead of myself here. Bear with me. It's going to say ready for submission. Once your zip code is entered, you're going to click ready for submission, and it'll prompt you on what to do next. Once you click ready for submission, it boots you out of the filing tool, so you're going to have to log back in so you can finish the final steps for submitting your quarterly report. Also, too, paragraph 3, you've entered all this information, but when you go pull it up on your PDF document, you're not going to see your zip code data. Don't worry, it's there. Your zip code data is in our database. Everyone has access to our database, but is not printed on the actual PDF document. But it is housed in our Media Intelligence Center, and I'll show you where that's located in a moment. When you have your paragraph 3 submitted, your paragraph 1's all done, you are in the final stages. So what you're going to go into review and submit. I'm going to show you this in our live demo, this View Quarterly Data. View Quarterly Data allows you to proof your information before you submit it to AAM. But once you're satisfied with paragraph 1 and your paragraph 3 is already submitted, you're going to click Final Step Submit. It's going to ask for the name and title of the person who's filling this out. And also there's a box right below the name and title. You want to check that box because that's your electronic signature. And you're basically attesting that to the best of your ability, what's entered into the filing tool is accurate. There will be a blue button that will be for Final Step Submit. So it's a two-step process. You're going to submit paragraph 3, and then you're going to go back in and you're going to submit the entire file. We do have some clients that kind of forget that step. They figure that they've submitted paragraph 3, all is good. You still have one more step. You need to go back in, go into Review and Submit, and click on Final Step Submit. Also, before I go into a live demo, there's Brand View. Brand View, what this is, it's a bridge between your PDF document and that detail analysis in our Media Intelligence Center. It's just a great way to customize how your data looks in our database. It's quick and easy setup. It's you can customize it. You can put in a link to your media kit. Also, all our U.S. publications have a Brand View tab called Distribution Heat Map. It takes your zip code information and it puts into a heat map. Your Brand View, you can share that link with any client, even if they're a non-AAM client. It's just a great marketing tool. So I'm more than happy to show you how to set up your Brand View profile to really build it out if you haven't done so already. So now I'm sure you're excited about this. We're going to go into a live demo here. I'm going to go into Trusted Media, auditedmedia.com. It's AAM's main website. Remember to use either Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox for the filing tool. You're going to go into Login, and there's two choices, Media Intelligence Center and Publishing Filing Center. Media Intelligence Center is where we house our release reports, but the Filing Center is what we're interested in right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Publishing Filing Center. It's going to ask for your credentials. Remember, it's going to ask for your member name, username, and password. I'm using my own credentials right now for our demo, but if you are unsure what your credentials are for the filing tool, please contact me. I'm more than happy to provide that information for you. So I'm going to be using a publication called Metro West. So I'm going to enter in their member number. I'm going to click Login. So now I'm logging in. I get some more options. Now here's that Brand View management. This is if I'm setting up my Brand View. But what I'm interested in right now is quarterly filing. So I want quarterly filing online. And when I click on that, you get some more welcome page. Just to let you know, there's some really good tutorial information in this welcome page. If you click on tutorial and guides, it'll direct you to our website and brings up our step-by-step guide. So there's four main components. We have the questionnaire section, wants to know information about your publication. Then we're going to enter in information, the second section, which is about your paragraph 1. Then the other main section is zip code data. And then once we have all this filled out, then we go into Review and Submit. So the first thing you're going to do is survey. In the survey questionnaire, what type of distribution do you have? Do you have print? Do you have digital? Do you have both? If you have both, you want to make sure they're both checked. Also, you just want to make sure the contact information is updated and it's correct. If you need to make any changes, just highlight the information you want to change and then type over it. And then you click Save. You can click Save and we'll get a message successfully saved, or you can click Save and Continue, which will save the information but brings you to the next tab. Now remember I was talking about quarter date range. This is the starting point of your quarterly report and the end date. There should be no gap from your last quarter report. So that means that my last one that I filed was my June report. So it ended on June 30th, which makes sense to have a starting point of July 1st. And this is going to end September 30th. But if I need to change my start and my end date, there's this red calendar box. You click on it and you can select what your new end date, your starting date is. And then make sure you click Save. Publishing plan, there's nothing for you to do here but to double check. What you're going to double check is make sure that all your frequencies are marked. So if I'm a 7-day publication, I should have a check mark for each frequency. I have a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, etc. If you change your publishing plan and say you're no longer publishing Monday, contact us. You can contact Tim Lean at 224-366-6435 and let us know what your frequency change is, and we'll update our system for you. If you have an unpublishing day, say it's July 4th, click on the plus box, and then it brings down this calendar. And then you can go ahead and select, I'm going to go ahead and select July 4th. I don't have any omitted days, but it's the same procedure if you did. You can go ahead and click the plus box, and then it brings in the calendar. When you do have an omitted day, though, not only do you select what the omitted day is, but what is your net circulation for that day. Go ahead and click Save. Reconciliation of days. Now this, again, you're not going to do anything in this section, but you want to double check the net days. So I'm going to click on the title. And if you notice, there was a possible 14 days. I had 0 omitted days, no non-pub days for Sunday, so my net day is 14. But look at my Monday through Friday. I had 1 non-pub day, so I had started out with 65 days and netted it down to 64. You want to make sure that these net days correspond with your circulation report. And that circulation report you're going to be using, let me go back here real quick. It is going to be this report, oops, sorry about that. It's going to be this report here. You're going to pull that circulation history report. That circulation history report is what you're going to use for paragraph 1. And so on that report, it'll have the total of days. You want to make sure those total days match. Here's paragraph 1. Now paragraph 1, there's a key message. Net circulation totals, non-averages, should be entered for paragraph 1. So what does this mean? 1, you don't want to put in averages because the filing tool is going to calculate your average for you. The other thing is net paid, meaning returns are deducted. So going back here to this report, what the number you want to pull is, it says net average, the net distribution. So my total home delivery, for example, is 11473. So that's the number I would put in the filing tool, not the 287, because the filing tool is going to convert that into an average. So 11,473. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here, 11,473. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And I put that under home delivery print. Now, I'm not going to fill all this up, but I am going to show you how you can double check the information you're entering. I highly recommend you enter a few lines, click Save, because all of us are multitasking. We all have phone calls, emails coming in on us at the same time we're doing this. So make sure you click Save and save often. I'm going to go down here and Review and Submit, go into Review Quarterly Data. And I'm going to click on this Pair 1, 2 calculated averages. So it took that 11,423 and it divided it by 14 to come up with my average of 820. So that's what I mean when you go in this paragraph 1, you want to put in what the total net distribution is, not the averages, because the filing tool does convert it to you, convert the averages for you. The next section is basic prices. It pulls in information from your previous filed for pricing. What basic prices is just what is your basic price for the year for home delivery, and then what is your single copy price, and then also what is your digital yearly price. So anybody who's subscribing, we all know that you have special offers and things of that nature, but it's just what is your basic price. The next section is explanatory. There really isn't a lot of information here, but if you needed to add an explanatory, you can click on Add Explanatories, and it brings down the various different options you can select for explanatory. The next big component is paragraph 3. This is where you're going to spend a majority of your time. Now, for paragraph 3, you're going to pull, this is where you select your paragraph 3 date. So the very first time you go in, you're going to click on Add New Paragraph 3. Brings up that paragraph 3 survey that I was talking about earlier. This is where you're going to select your paragraph 3 dates. So I'm just going to go ahead and select September 23rd. And I'm going to select September 25th. You want to keep your paragraphs, your daily and your Sunday, close together. It just makes it nice for the reader to see what your distribution is within that week. I'm going to go ahead and just put in a pub code. I'm not uploading paragraph 3, so in that case, I'm going to put in the initials of my publication. If I were to upload my paragraph 3, I want to make sure my pub code matches what the pub code I assigned my main publication in the file that I'm uploading. Otherwise, it's just the initial of your publication. Question 2, it wants to know, it's just telling you that it's using what was done previously, that your breakdown of your distribution for paragraph 3 is paid, qualified, digital replica, non-replica. My publication doesn't have any affiliated publications. I honestly, for question 4, I don't know of any publication now that breaks out town break distribution. This is an option where you not only break out your zip codes, but you break your distribution out by town. Back in the day, most everybody did this, but now I think there might be just one publication that does this. If you are under 25,000, which my publication is, I'm able to prorate. And remember, you can prorate up to one. If I'm a 24-month audit cycle, I can prorate 7 of my quarters. You have to provide one actual paragraph 3 during your audit cycle. So I'm going to click yes. That doesn't mean that you get out of doing paragraph 3. It just makes it a little bit easier to submit paragraph 3. Once you fill this information in, let's say I filled this information in, but you know what? I stepped away. I have to. I need to log out. So I'm going to go back in, and I want to show you why I did that. And it helps if I put in the right member number. Bear with me here. The reason why is because when you go into paragraph 3, I'm going to click on edit. I'm not going to put in new paragraph 3. You only put in add new paragraph 3 for the very first time you're selecting your paragraph 3 dates. So hopefully this worked. I'm going to go into add. So when I go into zip code, I click on add modified. I'm not going to click on add new paragraph 3 because I've already selected September 23rd and 25th. Click on edit, and that brings you back into the paragraph 3 screen. So if I scroll down, there's 2 tabs you're going to fill out. The first one is going to be the circulation record total tabs. The circulation record totals, this is where you're going to pull a report from your system, and it wants to know what your total distribution, your paid is for that paragraph 3 date, your total qualified, what your digital replica is. Keep in mind, paragraph 3 can be gross, meaning returns can be included. Paragraph 1 is always net, meaning returns are deducted. But for paragraph 3, it can be gross. So you're going to fill that information in for the paragraph 3 dates. You're also going to fill it in for the week before and the week after. And that's so AAM knows that you're choosing a representative day. Once you've completed this, so I'm just going to put in some numbers so you can see how this works. And I promise Metro West I'm going to fix this so you won't see this when you actually do file. But I'm just using you as an example right now. So once I fill this in, you click on zip code data entry. It does take a moment for it to load. But what it'll do, it'll bring up your previous filed zip codes. And so you're going to enter in the data. So if I start putting in 350, and once you start entering information, it calculates what your total zip code is. And then as you can see, here's my circulation record totals. I still had differences. So, but as you start entering more and more information, this eventually you want this to be 0. So 24972. Obviously, you're going to fill this out for your zip codes. If you need to delete a zip code, just click delete. If you need to add a new zip code, you click on insert new zip code. But as you can see, once I start entering zip codes, it zeroed out. So you want to make sure all your circulation record balances to what your total zip code distribution is. It's a check and balance for you. Once you have completed your paragraph 3, there are 0 differences. What you're going to do is you can click on View Summary. View Summary, when you click on that, what it's going to do is just take your paragraph 3 and put in an Excel file that you can save onto your laptop or your computer. Once your paragraph 3 is ready to go, click on Ready for Submission. So you click on Ready Submission. The reason why it's not letting me to submit right now because I do have differences. So you want to make sure that there is no differences in your paragraph 3. And then it'll tell you the reason why you can't submit because there's where your differences are. But once it's all set, it'll say ready for submission and you can go ahead and submit. And then it'll boot you out of the filing tool, so you just have to log back in for that final step to submit everything. Once you have completed paragraph 1 and paragraph 3, you submitted paragraph 3, you're in the final stages. So you go under review and submit, go into review alerts. Right now it says my paragraph 3, I haven't submitted it. I have to be able to submit paragraph 3 before I can submit my whole entire file. Upload images. This is as if you want a logo of your publication on the actual PDF document, you can certainly do that. Just provide a TIFF or JPEG file and then click upload. Publisher's comments. This is not going to be printed. These are comments for us internally here at AAM. You're going to want to let AAM know. When you submit your quarterly file, it goes through a review process. We double check your information and compare it to what was previously filed. If we notice major spikes, we're going to reach out to you and say, hey, you might want to double check this. So if you wanted to say we added new zip codes or we added a new distribution area, you would fill this in just so we would know. But it's up to you. Publisher's comments optional. You don't have to fill it in. It's just if there was any major changes to your publication, you would want to know that. And then just click Save. This is the most important part here is this View Quarterly Data. View Quarterly Data, if you click on each section here, each gray box, what it'll do is a proof of exactly what you've entered into the filing tool, how it converted into averages, what your basic prices are, your explanatory, and your contact information. So basically, this is your proof document before you submit it to AAM. There's this print icon. If you want it, there's 2 things you can do. I highly recommend that you either save it or print it out, because once you submit it to AAM and it's released, you won't be able to go back into it. So you can, if you don't want to print it out but save it as a PDF, just click Change and put Save as PDF. So that way you can save it as a PDF onto your desktop. And I'm going to cancel out of that. Once you submit your information to AAM, it goes to a review process, and then if we're fine with the review, you're going to email from AAM. It's a proof email. It says, hey, before we release your data into our database, you have one more chance to look at your data and make any changes. It's going to direct you back into the filing tool. We do not no longer send a PDF of your proof. Instead, we direct you back into the filing tool. And once you go into the View Quarterly Data, so you can look at the information, and so you can just double check. This information you want to double check against your circulation report. You want to make sure that the numbers you have here match your circulation report. Because what happens is once your quarterly report's released, those are the reports that the auditor is going to use to verify your distribution. Then we have final step submit. Once your paragraph 3 is submitted, your paragraph 1 is good, you're going to put in the name and title and then check the box below that, and that's your electronic signature. If I had submitted my paragraph 3, there's going to be a blue button here saying submit, and that submits everything. It takes your whole entire file, and I'll submit your whole quarterly report. Also, too, there's brand view management. If you want to update your brand view, it's all part of the same section. You don't have to. If you want to do it at a later time, you certainly can. But brand view, there's choose layouts. You can provide content. We do have a whole nother webinar that we'll be conducting here within the next couple of weeks here about brand view and how to set it up. But I do want to let you know, for those who are interested in building out their brand view profile, it is in the filing tool. So that's a lot of information. I do want to show you just a couple more things as we wrap up here, is that when you release your report, I'm going back into the audit, our website, and under login, instead of Filing Center, I'm going to go into Media Intelligence Center. And there's credentials to get into the Media Intelligence Center. Those are different than the Filing Center. If you need to know those, just contact me and I can provide you your Media Intelligence Center credentials. I'm just in the search by bar going to type in my member number, the one that I was using, and I want to show you what happens when I bring up this one, this title. This is Metro West Daily News. This is, they took advantage of brand view. They built it out. They took their overview tab and they customize it. So here we have the logo for brand view for Metro West. If I click on this, it goes directly to their media kit. Has a print distribution. This is updated automatically with the latest released quarterly file. Distribution map tab is a new tab that we added to all our U.S. publications that file zip code data. It's just a heat map of where their distribution is by zip code. So if you hover over the darker the area, the more heavily where their distribution is located for that particular zip code. So for example, 01776 has 861 total distribution. Household percent is 13%. It's just a quick way to look at the information by zip code without going into that newspaper analyzer. So BrandView really is a great tool for our clients. I do want to show you another, for those who haven't fully built out their BrandView profile, what it looks like once your information is released into our database. So I'm clicking on another client, and I just wanted to show you real quickly what it would look like. I'm going to refresh real quick, and I'm going to add in another member here. So give me a moment. So I'm bringing up Abilene. When I click on Abilene, they have not built out their overview tab for BrandView, but all publications are going to have a tab for quarterly reports. It's always going to show their latest released quarterly report. So once your September is released, it's going to override the June one and put in September. But if you want to go back in time and know what your other reports were, you use this down arrow and you can go back to your previously quarterly files. All our U.S. publications are going to have that distribution heat map. It's based on your latest quarter of release zip code information. And then the reports library. So everyone technically has a BrandView profile. It's just some have built it out more than others. So the one I had before, they had that overview tab, and that's where you get to customize, put in your logo, put in pictures of your publication, put in your media kit. So if you're interested in building out your BrandView, let me know. More than happy to help you out. And I know we're wrapping up here. Just wanted to let you know that if you had questions about how to file, go into Knowledge Base. We have an awesome resource there for about filing. I'm going to go into Publisher Resources, click on U.S. Newspapers, and then Data Filing, how to file circulation data. By doing that, it provides you the step-by-step resource guide of the filing tool and goes in a lot more detail than when I even went in today. Also, too, we have some more webinars coming up. If we click on Knowledge Base again, attend our webinars. I can show you which ones we're having coming up. We have one that's coming up on October 25th. It's our AAM's initiatives and updates. My colleague Kevin Rayberg is going to be conducting this webinar. Just other ways you can enhance your brand story with AAM, how to tell a full, robust story of AAM and how you can get that information to our database. I will be conducting on November 8th, Enhancing Your Brand View Profile. So I'll go over the steps on how to build out that overview page, how to put in that media kit link, how to put in videos, things of that nature. And then also, too, my colleague Jenny Anderson on December 11th will be conducting a webinar on mastering the Media Intelligence Center in 30 minutes. So this is how you can look up your release reports, your quarterly reports, where's your zip code data information housed. We do have your zip code information. It's in the Media Intelligence Center. It's in the Newspaper Analyzer. So if you have any questions about that, highly recommend those webinars. That was a lot of information we went in a little bit of time. But again, if you do have any questions, feel free to contact me. You can contact me at 224-366-6342. More than happy to do a one-on-one training session with you to walk you through the filing tool. If you submit your records to me, more than happy to break down your records, help you build out a spreadsheet so you can be easier for you to file. So with that, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.